What's going on, everybody? Carlos here once again from Kemei Pets, and we have a review that I've been putting off a little bit just because when the holidays came around, I got super busy. It was hard for me to get to anything, but nonetheless, it gave me more time with this guy, giving me the opportunity to really further get to know what my opinions are about this machine. And I can't pronounce this. It looks like AUDOC, I don't know. But we'll just give you the model number, which is RFCD 9350. That is a model number we're talking about today. But believe it or not, from what I understand, Sucre makes one just like this. Kemei makes one just like this. And if I find them, I'll leave a link in the description. So if you haven't already, you can see the unboxing, see what comes in this box, which is a good thing because it lets you know how you're gonna get up and running. We'll go over some of the specs before I get into my full explanation and review, but it's rated at a 3.7 volt, charge time approximately 3 hours, run time approximately 5 hours, capacity of a 2000 milliamp battery, and input voltage, all this stuff, DC, yeah, 5 volt, powers 3 watts. Guys, one of the first things that attracted me to this machine was definitely it had a charging stand, which I thought was fantastic. I think a lot more companies need to start do that. Companies like JRL, I believe. No, I don't know if JRL has it, but I definitely believe that Gamma definitely has a couple clippers with stands, and I think it's just a great way to actually store your clipper when you're not using it and make sure it's always charged. That's for one. But let's get done with this box. I'll put it over here and talk about the actual build quality. Now, if you saw in my unboxing, I talked about the build quality a little bit, and opinions pretty much have stayed consistent. I love that it has this feature. What am I talking about? I am talking about the click notch feature. Now, it only does have 4 notches, but unlike some of my other clippers that only have 4 notches, this one still allows you to zero gap it. This one still allows you to get in between. So honestly, for people who are cutting at a certain speed or cutting and still trying to learn, having notches definitely allows you to know exactly where you are when you're adjusting the up and down movement of the actual blade itself. Now, I went ahead and changed out the blade. That is something that if I find that the blade it comes with isn't really that great, I always end up changing it to the Wahl fade blade. I will leave a link to the one I use down in the description, also with the link to this guy right here. So, continue on with the build quality. We have a kind of gloss finish, which is good and bad. It looks fantastic, but it definitely tracks fingerprints very easily. I think a failing point with the build quality would be that I think this lever here will eventually wear out and you might lose the ability to have the notch. I'm not sure, just because of the build quality here. It's very plasticky, and I just don't know long term. Now, I've had this for, at this point, a couple of months. So I've gotten my hands on understanding how well this machine works. Battery life is fantastic. I know it's only a 2000 milliamp battery, but because the motor that they're using in here, which I believe is a rotary motor, it's not a very powerful one. And I'll get more to that in a little bit, but it works hand in hand with the battery. It obviously does a really good job when it comes to battery life. That's why I like it so much. Just lasts very well. Like I said, it goes hand in hand with the ability to cut pretty much all day with this guy. And again, if you connect it to the charging stand, then you're gonna have even more success longer term. I tend not to do that. I like to drain my battery and then, you know, charge it fully and then go from there. But you have these, if we look at the back, you have these little ridges, perfect for your hand placement. The machine is quite lightweight, which is a good and a negative. And the good thing is, because it's lightweight, you know, someone who likes to move faster definitely can with this, but the balance is definitely there. The bad thing is, if you're someone who likes a heavier machine, then this machine might not be for you. because it might feel a little cheap on the cheap side when it comes to the build quality. Things I have noticed is some of the finish is actually already peeling off. If we take a look around here, you can see this is just normal wear and tear. So some of the finish is not exactly holding up to par, as you see in different areas. But that's most machines. I'm not really worried, especially when you talk about the price point of this guy right here. Another thing about the build quality is we obviously have ourselves a LED readout. Now, the machine is a little bit noisier than my liking. Here's a sound test. Now, as you see, the machine has a little bit more noise than I personally like, but in an environment where the TV's on, you might have the radio blasting. If you're working in a shop, it drowns out pretty much any clipper. But if you don't like a noisy clipper, this might be a drawback for you. Definitely changed when I changed the blade. The original blade is okay, nothing great. You might have to sharpen it if you know how to do that. If you don't, you can still cut with it. For home use, I think this is definitely fantastic. This is really budget friendly for one, and it's a good working machine. So if you're gonna use it at home, I definitely will recommend it. For shop use, this is my only gripe with it. For shop use in a more professional environment, it has almost everything I want, except for it just doesn't do great for bulk cutting. This will be more for anything between a 2 and under. From a guard number 2 to a skin fade, this thing will work great. But when you try to bulk cut with this, it gets hammed up easily, and it's frustrating how easy it gets hammed up. But once you understand that and you realize you're not going to be going through hair very quick with this, the machine does what it's supposed to do, which is, I think it specializes in mainly fades. It's not a great all-around clipper, it's a really solid fade clipper. I suggest that you change your blade to whatever you feel comfortable. Like I said, I use a fade blade, and it works out good. In some of the examples that I've been showing, you can see you can get a great cut with it as long as you're good at what you do. My recommendation with this machine is simple. For home use, anyone looking to use this guy at home, I think it's a really good clipper. I have others I would recommend over it, but if you had your eye on this, it's still a really solid buy, especially if you can get it at a good price. For shop use, I wouldn't necessarily, it's not gonna be my go-to. It's not actually gonna even be in my lineup at this point. I just personally don't think that it's a machine well used for shop. Now, if you did some sort of mod to it by putting maybe an Andy's master blade on it, or even the Oster fast feed blade on it, you might have a completely different cutting experience. I don't know, I'm just talking about it with just changing out the regular blade. So that's about it with this video. Simple and short. When it comes to, will I recommend this for home use? Yes. Shop use, it's up to the person buying it, and if they think that this is a machine worth investing in with some of the features like having a dock. And that's about it, guys. Hopefully you like this material. Sorry it took so long, but you guys know I like to take my time with these reviews to really get a feel for how durability of this machine is really good. So far, I have concerns about the weak points there, but that's neither here nor there. The finish is okay. It does have some wear and tear, but again, for shop use, I just think it's up to a personal preference. But for home use, I definitely think it's a go. And again, if you like this material, make sure you leave a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. And as you guys know, I already have a couple other machines in the works. I have to get out my machine. Which one is it? I still have to give this review out here, which will be coming very, very soon. And my boy Nello, he provided me with his system right here, and I have to put out that video. So stay tuned for those things, as they will be coming in the very near future. And as always, guys, thank you for tuning in. And until next time, I will see you around. We're out.